these songs that live within people within myself, they deserve to be heard. They deserve to be contextually realized, and deserve to be a stepping stone. And like I really like participating in that.
Welcome to A Musical Mind. I'm your host, Richard Raymond II. I'm a recording engineer, music producer, and multi instrumentalist located in Colorado Springs, Colorado. In this podcast, we'll talk to a variety of musicians about the music making process, as well as the life and mindset that have helped them find success as a musical mind. Thank you for being here. Here we go. Welcome to another episode of A Musical Mind. I'm your host, Richard Raymond II. Please call me Rick. Today's musical mind is Marcus Darling, the Chicago-based pianist and producer. In this episode, we talk about a number of things, including Marcus's start with the music, him rekindling his relationship with his dad after 20 years of not seeing each other. That's super fascinating. We also talk about Marcus's experience being in a long distance polyamorous relationship. And we talk about what he's got in the pressure cooker at those upcoming releases. All right, stick around. Here it is with Marcus Darling. All right, what's up, people? Welcome to another episode of A Musical Mind. I'm here with today's musical mind, the Chicago-based musician and producer, keyboardist, singer, songwriter, the whole nine, Marcus Darling, the self-proclaimed outlaw and space cadet.
Woo!
What cued you to refer to yourself as an outlaw space cadet, or were those like separate things?
M. Darling, distance darling, outlaw space cadet. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know how to process all that, so I just kind of picked some and
That's
went with it.
perfect. I mean, honestly, like I just keep my shit attuned. I mess with people from Jupiter, like literally. So it's kind of crazy. So I just try to keep my wires up there, space cadetting,
Totally.
They trying to hit frequencies they don't want me to hear.
Yeah, okay, I like that. Gotta
Yeah.
say, stay inspired. Well, I like that though, because I've always thought about uh frequencies and kind of just like tuning into things and transmitting things opposed to like coming up with things. So I
Mhm.
think I would presume you have the same philosophy when it comes to making music if you're talking about that.
It is, but I'm realizing how much of a liberty that is, like to be able to explore it in that fashion. Some people I can imagine like are under some kind of gun or whatever to be like, oh, I have to craft another like thing now. I have to craft something. And I mean, like, there's something to be said about like people crafting this themselves. But like to be able to like sit in a room and like allow the spirit to take over like musically and then be able to capture that and then be able to be like, here's what I'm presenting is a like a liberty and a risk that like, I don't know if like so many people take. Like that's I think the most freeing part of music. That's really cool.
Totally. So why don't you I mean I gave the full introduction and gave you about 10 titles, but how about you tell people a little bit more about what you do more specifically?
Um, I mean, I live and breathe music. My God, like whether it's producing, whether it's like talking about the ideas that like put the visuals to music. Like music deserves wings, and I usually like to be that like fairy guide into like finding those wings, like and like okay, if we just go down here, we can bring more life to this because like these songs that live within people within myself, I've even noticed just like yeah, they deserve to be heard. They deserve to be contextually realized, like and deserve to be a stepping stone. And like I really like participating in that with people. I like building bonds with people, building relationships with people to like help explore that. The more time you spend with a person, you get to really see like what really intrigues them, and then like play with that musically, and like that becomes really like intimate and like building that intimacy like really taps into like a beautiful like cohesive music like collaboration. I really enjoy it.
Totally. It seems like you're someone who, you have a musical faculty to the point that you can be creating purely from an emotional, place in terms of, thinking of ideas or, concepts. Where I'm going with this is you're far beyond, um, thinking about chords or notes, trying to figure out what you wanna do. It seems like your approach is primarily emotional, to come full circle to what I'm saying. Does that resonate with you or no? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I do. I feel like that's like a very high compliment because I feel a lot of things that my body still isn't able to play yet. Like
Mm,
and like I don't even know when it'll get to the point where it's just like so tied into each other, like on some like savant stuff. Like that's on some like
okay,
perfect pitch stuff. But I do try hard
sure.
to
So you do
I
still
definitely
feel that at times you can't keep up with, what's going on in your head? Because that's definitely where I reside, but from the way
yeah.
you were talking, I was like, "I think you might be past that."
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I have gotten some like some credit for some like really dope musicians, just like talking about every single one of the chords, and they'll be like, "Dude, you got it. Like you don't need anything else." And I was like, "Oh
Mm,
shit, thanks for confirming that." Like, and then just started like going with like creativity and emotion, because
mhm,
usually like what really has me dive in is like the curiosity of it all, and like that curiosity is like following a feeling or following emotion, following like how like it's just feeling currently.
mhm.
Um so like it is like really capturing like an essence that's flying around,
Yeah,
and I do enjoy doing that shit. Like I know people who compose music like in a way like that have hits, that have motifs, like that shit is cold, like to
mhm,
be able to like think about that. And I love like collaborating with them because their brains are just made of a very like compositional standpoint where like some things have form and some things are meant to like I guess grab attention in a certain way if you're
mhm.
looking to do that while producing. And sometimes I'm looking to explore that. So I like blending my feeling and like tapped inness with like a little bit of form. Like I really enjoy it.
Totally. Yeah, a little bit of both. So do you come from a musical family? What's your what's your upbringing like?
Incredible question. I'm born and raised in Chicago. Um was raised by a single mom until she remarried, and I was the only person in the family really diving into music. Started like sampling in high school. Started like making beats, like kitchen table stuff, like lunchroom table stuff. Like was just like all in it. Started collecting records, and then yeah, it got to the point where like I was curious, just like, what am I looking for like in these things that I'm sampling? Let me just try to learn this eventually.
Mm,
And picked up piano about damn, it's been like 7 years ago, seven, almost seven, maybe 7.5 years ago, and just started like going to YouTube University, just being like,
yeah.
I have this fucking feeling, and then like I want to boop boop boop, like figure this shit out, and I guess it was just like a bunch of redundancy after a while that like really helped me like grill it and be like, oh, I've seen this before. Oh, I've seen this before. So it's so funny, like being in the scene in Chicago, I owe Wyatt Waddell a lot of credit for giving me my first chance to like just okay, this dude plays keyboard, he'll play with my band. And I used to just know like straight basic stuff like major, minor,
Mhm.
and happy, sad chords, what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so I told him I'll play. He was like, cool, I need you this weekend for a show. And he's just a man that sees ranges and colors. And his music was written out that way. And I'm like, I don't even know how to read these shapes and signs and shit. And so he gave me a chance with that, man. And I ended up picking it up, man, 'cause I was like very determined. And so yeah, we played a bunch of shows and like I just like felt removed from my family kind of just because I was really into music. I really like to
Mm.
isolate with music. Then lo and behold, I find my way in Arizona and I reconnect with my father after 20 years, just a couple years ago. And
Wow.
yeah, we pull up to his garage and he's got a garage full of like guitars and keyboards.
No
And oh
way.
shit, like damn, like what the fuck, dude? And so like we've definitely bonded like just over playing. He plays bass. He has a beautiful voice. Plays keys not as good as me. Guitar not as good as me. But he tries. He really does try to keep up. But
That's
he
so cool.
yeah, dude, that shit has been fascinating to build that relationship. It's been like a new like wind behind me, supporting me like in this like, oh shit, like I'm not making this shit up. like,
Yeah,
like I feel this shit for real. I always look outside like, do y'all feel that? Like for validation, but no, I feel that shit. For real.
that's super cool. I mean, there's a part of me that, like, I'm fascinated by twins, um, or just, like, the concept of meeting a relative later in life. I, grew up near all of mine, but, like, that I know some people who are, adopted and don't wanna meet their immediate family, and I just don't understand that concept. Not that I'm in that position, so maybe I'm not, shouldn't be speaking on this, but to me, that's, like, the most fascinating thing. So I'm glad that it's been a good experience for you, it seems like.
It's dog. I don't even like. I'm only giving you like cliff notes. Like
Mhm.
my dad and his entire side of the family is in the Southwest, and my dad has like another child, just like a few months older than me, a Sagittarius, Dom, who is literally me, but like intense as fuck. And like meeting that person after 20 years is like a mirror upon mirror. So I'm surrounded with my dad and like my sib, and like I'm just seeing like all these sides of myself, like just like in a crazy, crazy new way. And just being like, damn, like I'm definitely cooler than both of y'all, but like there's still some things that y'all have that I'm like, damn, like that's like darling to see because I've only never seen it in anybody else. It's like, damn, okay,
Yeah.
cool. We all do that. That's really interesting. So fascinating.
Yeah, the
Fuck,
whole
yeah.
nature nurture thing.
Oh, that shit is crazy. That shit
Yeah,
is
that's
crazy.
wild.
That shit is crazy.
I think I lean a lot more on nurture these days, but you can't sleep on nature either.
Man,
That's super cool though. This is you said brother, right? Older or younger?
so it's like my sib, like he is about just like a few months older.
Okay,
Like, yeah, had out of like wedlock or some shit. I don't know how they call it.
sure. Yeah,
Sleep around and shit. And
yeah,
then yeah, like I don't know, it's just bizarre. It's bizarre to like run across that. Like people with
yeah.
the same enthusiasm around music. Like it
Hmm.
can be a drop of a hat. Somebody sings a note, boom, we in it. Somebody's
Yeah,
got an instrument, somebody's like
yeah.
banging a tambourine, and it's so fascinating. It's so fascinating to be in the energy like that. Like I'm in some like
Totally.
Disney movie. Like it's kind of crazy up there.
I'm
It's kind of nuts.
I have a 1-year-old daughter and she she loves music, and it's really, really cool to see.
That is
Like, there's other 1-year-olds that we know and stuff, and, like, it's a bit different for her. Like, we were at this Halloween party couple weeks ago, and, like, she, like, goes over to the speaker, which is kind of, like, in the corner of the room and is messing with
awesome.
she gravitates towards it. It's very obvious. It's like all that jazz we played in the womb is coming through. It's so cool to see. Um,
I didn't know you were that. That's awesome too, dude. That's
yeah,
dope.
yeah. She, I try to, like, expose her on a it's all exposure. I don't have any expectations, just exposure, but already starting to see that something she's interested in. I have a do you know the Korg SV1 by chance, the piano? Well,
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. It's literally the one we have that's not working right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I have one and it works, and obviously it's got lots of knobs on it. So I'll just she'll sit on my lap and she's just changing tones all day. It's like it's super fun. Because
You,
you'll go from Rhodes to strings and she's like, "The fuck?" I'm
were
like,
you playing
"Yeah,
out?
I know."
Are you playing out of an amp?
Yeah, just like a, a practice bass amp.
Okay,
That's what I like to play out of.
okay,
And then I'll play drums with her on my lap too. I'm noticing that I'm usually holding her with the left arm kind of.
mm,
And so I played drums with two hands a couple days ago. I've not been playing a ton of music uh compared to what I'm used to. Um but anyway, like I'm starting to realize that holding her and playing with one hand is like actually been great practice because my right hand on both keys and drums is like growing exponentially
oh
out of
shit.
that restriction. So when I get this other one back, the shit that I'm playing, I'm like, I haven't even been practicing, but what's coming out is like clearly better than what I was doing. And it's because I'm using one fucking hand. I'm like, all right, we got to keep doing this. This is great.
Oh my
If that
god.
makes sense. So maybe throw that in your practice routine. Just duct tape it or something.
Yo, low key.
Yeah.
It might be something. I'm trying to figure out how to do that with the guitar. Take one hand and play the guitar. It probably has to be like open voicing or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Which would honestly, that would probably be amazing to just work on, picking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Restrictions like that create clear lanes. Um,
That,
What's up, guys? Taking a quick pause here to talk about my sample pack, Laid Back and Groovy Guitars. I did this sample pack with 5 Pin Media, the British sample pack label. And in this sample pack, you will find 376 live guitar loops, 144 guitar one shots, and 142 lap steel one shots, all drawing on an influence from psych, jazz, funk, and soul, inspired by artists such as Khruangbin, Goat, Fela Kuti, and Herbie Hancock. All these loops are both DI and the amp signal with printed effects and are distributed over the BPMs 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and 120, all evenly distributed over 4 different keys, giving you a wide variety of moods and feel to play with. Guys, there is a ton in this sample pack. Check it out. Get all the guitar you need for your beats. If you're a drummer, you want to play along to some guitar loops, whatever you need, this thing has it. I spent a shitload of time on this. Click the link in the show notes. Once again, Laid Back and Groovy Guitars by 5 Pin Media, available on loopmasters.com. Go and get it. Well, yeah, so that's what's been going on in my neck of the woods. Anyway, speaking of woods, I know you from playing with E-Woods.
oh
Are
shit.
you
That's my
are you
girl.
still playing with E-Woods?
At times, I think I'm gonna play a show with her before I leave. I'm pretty sure summertime in December.
Okay.
Uh, it is in awareness with what's happening in Gaza. So I really
Mm,
wish I the details about that to like plug that right now.
yeah, go
But
ahead.
yeah, we'll definitely be having a show in December. Um, that'll be super fun because we've all just like been dying to do it again. Um, right now, she's like working on some like new records, so she's down on those, and I'm just gonna be really fire.
Cool. Do you
Mm.
still does Danny still play with her? I don't
Oh
Danny
my god,
Classic.
yeah. Henny does more than just play, dude. His touch as a producer also is just fucking nuts, man. We've been cutting these new records within, and so like that's been just taking it up another notch, which has been super fun. And you know, when M gets hyped, we all know when he gets hyped, like everybody else gets hyped, so it's kind of hilarious. to like
Yeah,
tap into that energy musically with them. It's fun.
totally. He was my first guest. I don't know if you know we're from the same hometown.
No, I did not know that. Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah,
cool.
he's a bit
I love
older
that.
than me. Didn't really, like, know him. I mean, I knew of him, but once I started making music, he was always, like, kind
Yeah,
and
he's just
encouraging.
yeah, always
Yeah.
that good.
So,
Love
he
them.
once
Oh,
I started this podcast, he was one of the first people I had in mind to have on, and, it was a good episode. That's episode 1 for everyone listening out there. Alright, let's take a hard left. You
sure.
are in a polyamorous relationship, aren't you?
I am. I am.
Do you
I
wanna talk about that?
I am practicing polyamory or ethical non-monogamy. Yeah, I think it's really interesting. The idea of like relationship anarchy, defining like what intimacy and like what power of relationships are required and like how much autonomy we have with ourselves in order to explore with another person and like vibrate in the offset that we are constantly aware that we're making a choice to be in, rather than feeling like we're just riding an escalator or just feeling like somebody is actually bending and doing everything that I'm asking them to, and now they're less of their own person.
Mm,
And so like it's been really like blossoming, and I have like a gay Dutch partner that's just like traversing the world right now, and we've just been like really trying hard at it, and it's got its like ups and downs, and like I get just as jealous as if I was in a monogamous relationship,
totally.
but I don't have to like be afraid to talk about that. Like it's nice to be in a relationship whose focus is on like growth and talk about jealousy and
Mhm.
someone sitting there and listening and just like listening to understand and not to be like, well, you're wrong with this, or you're not doing this right, or like there's nothing, you're making it up, like gaslighting me and shit.
Yeah,
None of
yeah,
that shit. And so like it's been really really touching. I also like moments of seeing them enjoy with their other partner is like, also touching. Um, it's it's fascinating. It's also touching. That's some freaky ass shit, but it's also like like a warm feeling.
yeah.
Um, just because like I believe in this sense of like abolish victory. Shout out Nicholas. But I also believe in this sense of like compersion over jealousy, and compersion is new. Every time I type it in my fucking notes, it's like red dots are underneath it. So compersion is like the opposite of jealousy. Is that feeling you get like when you see your friends win, you feel like, yeah, I won. Like it's that feeling.
Mm,
It's like a feeling that I definitely get when I'm part of somebody's like life, and I love that. Like a win for you is like I feel that shit. I definitely
yeah,
have like that residual, that feeling. I can live like vicariously through that feeling. But like when I like had to be secret about my jealousy and all this other shit, um, or like be in a point where I have to shame about like my curiosity or like my pleasure. Like
mhm.
it's nice that this relationship has this like structure has found itself to me. It's been pretty nice.
Yeah, well, I commend you for trying new things, and I think, um, you have to have a lot of conversations if you're gonna do something like that,
Yeah.
and, like, a lot of conversations, and then you're gonna have to have them again, and then you're gonna have to have them again.
I love that because like,
Uh,
one thing I need is clarity, and I don't like sometimes like clarity can be rude, and I'll be like, "What the fuck?" But I ain't got no questions. Like I know exactly what you meant. Like
yeah,
I enjoy that because I'm such a creative that I can make all kinds of shit up in my brain if
uh-huh,
it's not clear. And like having conversation after conversation really like douses some of these like ghosts that I happen to be battling and shit. Like that I don't even know still exists. And I'm like, damn, like if we can just be clear and honest about these things, like please let's have a conversation again. And like let it be vulnerable. Let it be like my heart was beating fast when I was telling you that shit. Like let it like low key for me, that shit is arousing. Like
Yeah.
when I'm vulnerable, I'm like shit, next.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Sure.
so I appreciate those things.
Yeah, I mean, my wife and I, we're not currently practicing any sort of non-monogamy. It's something we kinda teetered around with in
who
the
brought it up?
beginning of my wife did. Well, we kind of almost, like at the time, I mean, this was early on, and we, like, broke up more or less. And she was like, "Well, what if we try this?" And that kind of, like, rekindled. Now we're, like, way more traditional than probably we ever thought we would be, but it's interesting how, like, having a child starts to kind of mm, it raises the appeal of things that are more traditional. All of that said, from time to time, we do still talk about the possibility of, in our case, we don't really have an interest in being polyamorous, but maybe we would do, you know, like, some sort of swinging or something, like a one-off thing here or there.
Okay.
Um But
Yeah.
having those conversations, even if we don't act on it anytime soon or ever, being honest about the appeal, and going through that conversation, like, does wonders for the security of the relationship,
Yeah.
um, from my experience anyway. And it is, to your point, like, it is arousing to me to, like, talk about, uh anything like that. I'm almost like, I don't even care if it happens. Like, talking about it enough is enough for my mind to feel free, for me not to feel like I'm trapped forever type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, um, so I commend you for having those conversations, like I said, and finding what works for you. I really think that's what it comes down to.
For your commitment, man. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So what do you got in the pressure cooker right now? Is there anything that you personally are working on? Um, Anything to plug?
Do I have fire? I am like in the laboratory technically. That's I mean these lights aren't this color for no reason.
Right.
Like it's the homie Nicholas, like singing writer, like a singing writer, a writing singer, the wedding singer, like shit, like we are constantly cooking up. Um, I am probably gonna drop a single in 3 weeks. I'm gonna drop a single in 3 weeks. That I collaborated with Ria the second on. And if you guys are still listening, like Big Difference, something y'all should check out. Has been having great numbers. And I feel like it really taps into the essence of like how we're writing music and like that there like is hope and there's frankness and like beauty like all at the same time. Like and so Big Difference. Nicholas Marcus Darling, you can check that out.
Yeah, these will all be out by the time this airs, I'm sure. So what are the titles? Because I'll link them in the show notes and people can go play them if you got them.
Yeah, Everybody Dies,
All
Marcus
right.
Darling. 888 Be Brave, Nicholas Marcus Darling. Um, Loose Leaf, Nicholas Marcus Darling. Oh my God, I'm probably gonna have an EP out by then. That's gonna be just fire hits. Like I'm getting into this whole world of just like concept art, in the sense of like music being a part of a concept based on the way it was captured, and like
Mm.
now like I already foresee this EP being out, so that's gonna be so exciting. That's gonna be so exciting. I'm excited that people are listening to this and probably will be listening to that. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's all in the show notes, folks. Go down there, click it, throw it in a playlist that helps. And
Think and stink. Let's go.
yeah, speaking of playlists, um, my final segment here, I have everyone on the show give me an album, a song, or an EP that lately has you fired up and motivated to make music yourself. So it doesn't need to be a new release, but it needs to be something that recently had you stoked.
Let's
Mm.
add to this.
And then I'll throw it in. The playlist is called A Collective Musical Mind. Um,
Mm,
and we're just gonna watch this thing grow.
damn.
Mm.
No
Really
rush.
what really got me fired up? Wait, like you said what? Not a song, but an album. It's what?
A song, EP, or an album. I wanted it to be all EPs, and then people just started getting too loose with it. So now it's just whatever you want.
Tell them Bruce did it. Um, I'm damn. Fuck that. I really did get fired up when I listened to Back on 74 by Jungle.
By who?
Jungle.
Jungle.
Yeah, Back on 74 when that shit dropped
Is that a new song?
relatively.
Okay, I don't know if I know it.
It's fucking ridiculous. It's
All right.
ridiculous. It's got all the tones. It's got just a fire ass mix. It's just drivey.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
play it right when
The
we're
music
done.
video, if you dance on the shit.
Cool. Yeah, so this
We
is
gotta shout out to John.
And Dijon. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely
He was
Dijon.
really good for the whole year.
Dijon, like the mustard.
Yeah.
What tune?
Shit. How can we even pick one?
You got to pick one.
I would say many times.
All right, that's number 4
Really?
on the popular list. Add to playlist. Those are both in there.
Oh no, do Talk Down. Do Talk Down. That's
I'll
the
do
one.
both of them. All right, that's number 3.
Yeah, Talk Down, baby.
Cool.
Okay. Talk Down. I thought you said Top Down at first, and that's kind of a cool name. Well, where can people follow you? I'll have all this in the show notes, but what are your tags?
You can go to marcusdarling.com. Boom, got that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It
you
sounds
can
like a designer. Like I would expect that to be like some chic shit on there, you know.
design what your ears about to hear.
Yeah. I'm going to your website.
And I got at Marcus Darling with 2 S's on Instagram.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't really do X like that.
All right. And then on if they want to find you on Spotify, that's just Marcus Darling as well, right?
Purely Marcus Darling. See all the collaborations I'm on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I love Sex With Me, the demo version.
Thank you so much, man. I'm planning on releasing more demos in the same vein.
I would love that.
Like they're really just like sonic explorations and curiosity. And so like yeah, it's about to go down, man. I'm just so excited to be able to produce this and like put this stuff out. Been collaborating with some fucking dopest people. I don't even know if you can swear on this, but
Yeah, you sure can.
I bet. All right, man.
Yeah, well, thanks for being here.
Yeah, for sure.
Great catching up, and keep doing what you do, and we'll keep listening to it.
Hey, bet. Thanks, man.
Yep. Have a great night.
All right, man. Take it easy.
That's a wrap with Marcus Darling. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you'd like to connect with Marcus, you can give him a follow on Instagram. That's Marcus with 2 S's, Darling, Darling. You can find him on Spotify, Marcus Darling. And you can also peep his website, marcusdarling1s.com. Thanks for being here. Until next time, get outside. Thanks for listening to A Musical Mind. I have been your host, Richard Raymond II. If you, your band, or your friend, or anyone you know is in need of mixing and mastering services, I offer that remotely. Shoot me an email. That's richardraymond2@gmail.com. No spaces, all spelled out.
You can also give me a follow, Richard_Raymond_II on Instagram. Shoot me a DM. We'll get to making some cool shit. And please like this podcast, share it with a friend, give it a 5-star rating. It ain't too hard to do. I appreciate you for being here, and I'll see you next time.